Hello and welcome to Jurassic Reviews. On this episode, we'll be taking a look at another figure from Mattel. That figure is the Mononykus. Before we begin, here's a look at the packaging. Here's the front. Here's the back. And here's the collector's card that it comes with. The Mononykus is part of the Attack Pack line, which consists of figures that are smaller and more affordable. But while they are cheap, they actually have been consistently some of the better figures from Mattel's lines. The Mononykus is no exception. It stands about 4 inches tall and is 6.5 inches long from head to tail, so it's roughly the same size as the Coelurus, which I did a video on a few months ago, though this one might be just a tiny bit taller. I'll compare that figure with this one later in the review. Looking at the sculpt, the main thing that sticks out on this figure is the feathers. This is the first dinosaur figure by Mattel to be covered in feathers, and really it's the first overall unless you include the male Jurassic Park 3 raptors and the Velociraptor X from the Chaos Effect line. But for me personally, I think this one stands out from those others, and is truly a special figure. While I love the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World featherless dinosaurs, it's so cool to finally get one with feathers in a toy line, and the whole thing looks great. Its body is made of hard plastic, but the tail, legs, head, and arms are made of a softer material, and can bend a little bit. Despite being such a small figure, details are still pretty impressive on it. There's tons of small scales and bumps found throughout the figure. And the feathers on the tail and arms look great as well, especially on the tail. The head also has plenty of detail, including the little tiny teeth that are hard to see. This figure does have large feet like many other Mattel figures, but that's not really a deal breaker for me. Now let's move on to the paint, which is also great. The majority of the figure is painted gray, but there's also some areas that are painted a dark blue. This blue mainly shows up on the head, its torso, and the end of the tail. Moving to the legs, they are also painted gray, but they switch nicely to yellow at the feet. Moving back to the head, there's the previously mentioned blue, but also red underneath the neck. It also has yellow eyes with dark blue pupils. Now, like I said before, the teeth are hard to see on this one, and that is mainly due to them being unpainted. They are just the same blue color found on most of the head. This isn't a major issue, but when I first saw this figure I didn't even realize it had teeth. The teeth are tiny, so it's understandable. Now let's move on to the articulation. The head can move, just up and down. This is very similar to how the Mosaurus head moves. Now moving on to the arms, both of them can move. Its legs can move as well. And its tail can be rotated, though it doesn't look as good when moved as the sculpt breaks alignment. Before I give my rating for this figure, let's compare it with other figures. Here it is with a Kenner 4-inch human and a Mattel 3 3/4 scale human. Here it is with the Coelurus. Here it is with the Ceratosaurus. Here it is with the Albertosaurus. And finally, here it is with the Indominus Rex. For a rating out of 10, I give this one a 9. Much like the Coelurus, it is small but loaded with awesome details. The feathers are awesome, and it's really nice to see Mattel try something like this. The paint is pretty good, despite the teeth being really hard to see, and the articulation is about what you'd expect for a figure in this price range. But overall, I highly recommend this one. And that does it for the Mattel Jurassic World Dino Rivals Mononykus. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.